Alright, so this is first stop on the Sunken Road tour. We're here. This is where my boys, the Confederacy, poured down fire on the invading Union troops that came from that way. Well, you can't see anything now, but that was cleared after a Union bombardment that took out the entire town, basically to ruins. My boys stood behind this wall, and as the Union troops, wave after wave of them came up, well, wave after wave of them went down. So it's kind of hallowed ground we're walking on. We'll see. The Union attack begins with the Irish Brigade. Won't be able to read that. My camera doesn't have a great focus, but $18 Union brigades, more than 30,000 men. And up here, up on this hill here, is a home, and all on there were the Confederate artillery, just pouring down the fire. Nobody ever said Burnside was a smart general. So, Robert E. Lee, overall commander. General Longstreet was one of the commanders here, and the other one was the legend himself, Stonewall Jackson. Stand by. Alright, we're walking up on Mary's Heights now. There's the house back there. We'll probably get a better view from the front. But this is where the Confederate artillery was placed. And as you're going to see in a minute, you couldn't ask for a better strong position than what Jackson had here. Robert E. Lee set everything up pretty nice here. He beat the Army of the Potomac here after he realized where they were going to go. Might have taken the town of Fredricksburg for a short while. And after the Union troops invaded, ravaged, pillaged, and burnt the place to the ground, showing no respect for civilians, well, the Confederacy was mighty mad. As they say, their dander was up. Confederates on the ridge. Here we are. Cobb was below us on the stone wall, which you saw. And from up here, well, death rang down. The Federals came in from over there. The river's back that way a ways. So they crossed the river, came through, and as you could tell, we'll walk over here to the edge. Put a few cannon up here, and well, you got the problem if you're on the other end. There's the Sunken Road, where literally 4 lines of Confederates were fire, march back to the rear, the next line up, fire, next line up, fire. It was a wall of bullets. So 7,500 Union fell there, led by the Irish Brigade. And here's the front of this house, the Mary Heights house. It's one thing I don't like about these southern battlefields is, you know, there's just no money to upkeep these places and make sure that they're not bought and overrun and turn into this. And that could be a beautiful home to look around and explore. back out, sorry. But it's uninhabited at this time. It just seems that they, unlike Gettysburg, where there's like 1,000 monuments for everything, here not so much. There you could oversee Fredricksburg down there. And just keep this going. Right up here, a couple cannon. There's a brigade of cannon up here. And they pretty much did their job with shot, decimating the Union ranks. There is a cemetery back there, which we'll look at in a minute. In December of '62, Confederate artillery on this hill rained shot and shell on attacking Union soldiers advancing out of Fredericksburg. Next to the guns was a small brick building. One of them was occupied this part of the heights. The little brick house, which was white at the beginning of the battle, was perfectly red with bullet marks at the close. Wrote one Confederate, there was an old-looking stove in front of the house. The ball striking it kept it up with a parallel bing, bing, unequal to various notes of a hand organ. In '64, photographers taken about this spot shows the Willis Hill buildings in ruins, wrecked by Union artillery during the fighting here. Confederate earthworks, now gone, seized, or crest the heights. And of course, here's a couple of the Confederacy's best friends at the time, especially for being up here. 6 pound maybe. So, alright, we'll stand by. We'll look at the graveyard next. So here we have the Willis graveyard, which was not spared by Burnside. Union artillery smashed the walls down. Confederate soldiers were housed here that were injured. One Confederate brigade rested here before running down to the old stone wall. These walls were all destroyed and rebuilt shortly after the war. But as you can tell on these pillars, there's shot, holes, bullet chips, cannon, shot, more bullet fragments up here on these pillars. Looks like there might be one right there in the wall. So, and now yep. And as we walk over to the big cemetery, which we'll get a better shot of in a minute, but for right this second, these are the casualties and the heroes that fought for what they believed on both. Sorry, I just said stop. Rows and rows of graves. We're going to go in and pay our due respect to these gentlemen. Stand by. So as I said, we're about to go into Fredericksburg National Cemetery. Approximately 20,000 soldiers died in this region during the Civil War. They remain scattered throughout the countryside in shallow, often unmarked graves. At 65, Congress established Fredericksburg National Cemetery as its final resting place for Union soldiers who died in area battlefields. Confederate soldiers were buried in cemeteries located at Fredericksburg and Spotsylvania Courthouse.